really enjoyed this one a little bit more than last year's for the females. What did you make of the thing, Matt? And of course, we'll talk about some of the moments, but just sort of as a summary here on your part, Matt, of the match itself.
This one, I love this match. I think they nailed it. I think they got the Royal Rumble spot on this. I think everybody had their moment. Everyone had their time to shine. I feel like even the people who are making debuts, like Lacey Evans, like wow, she really just ran with this. Came in at number one, gave a strong performance. Definitely got her point across that she's someone to be reckoned with. And Charlotte coming in at 13, also like halfway through, pretty much gave a lot of the female wrestlers in there a chance to actually lock up with her. And I think it was almost spot on in every aspect, and there's a decent amount of comedy to it as well, but not too much to make it ridiculous. I just and even the women that were involved in this, there wasn't even that many legends. Not many that spring to mind straight away. I think it was most of the homegrown talent that they've done.
Maria Kanellis was there, but
she's at least a current signed member of the women's roster. So I feel like we see the strength now and the depth in the women's division.
Yeah, no, I enjoyed it. I mean, I was very taken in. I mean, I thought Natty done really well. I think it was good to have her in at number 2. Absolute pro as always. And I thought there was just some really good moments in the match. Like Matt said, a bit of comedy, but not too much comedy. Of course, we had Sonya Deville. I mean, I think she came in about 24, 25, I want to say, but then she ended up coming out. I think from there on in, stuff started to get really serious a little bit more. And of course, then saying that, we had the part of Hornswoggle, Matt, who came out of nowhere. Kind of hinted that he probably would be there because he'd been spotted around. But Hornswoggle coming out, of course, he was under the ring. They were doing this whole thing where Vega was underneath there. Don't know what he was going to do if he actually did catch up with her, Matt. I dread to think what happens at that moment. But it's fascinating.
She spent a long time under that ring, about 10 minutes, and they hadn't found each other in that time.
Yeah, I always think when anybody does that, that's the Jerry Lawler spot for me. My childhood, Jerry Lawler going underneath the ring. I loved that moment when he did that. That was always a big thing to me, and that's what anyone that does that now, they're just copying for me. But yeah, that was always the Jerry Lawler moment for me. I loved when seeing him do that. It was just such a heelish thing to do, realistically. But yeah, I enjoyed the match. There was some good talent out there. I did feel like some of the NXT stars, it just goes to show you, Matt, that maybe the crowd that show up, they really don't watch NXT as much as we think they do. And there is just the WWE core audience that watch the network, but mainly those people probably don't watch NXT because some of the reactions just wasn't there. It was very odd. But it just goes to show you the mainstream isn't perhaps as in tune as what they probably think and what I think. I always think that they're too exposed down there, but clearly not sometimes. So that was interesting, just sort of listening to that. One thing I will say, Matt, I felt that the huge pop came was Alexa Bliss. I mean, she seemed to get a massive reaction when she came out and sort of showed me, Matt, that she's absolute star power still for WWE, and what a great job she's done of getting herself to that level. Looks like she'll hopefully be back now as well. I've got to say, when she came out at 26, Alexa Bliss here, I've got written down, and then Bayley came out, and you know what? When Bayley come out, I was thinking to myself, I don't know, I was just like, this is I've kind of totally lost confidence with Bayley. I mean, I was Bayley's biggest fan at one point. I had her and Finn Balor on a mantle at one point. I said, these two, they're your stars. This is the future. But poor Bayley, she's been so let down. And then I'm seeing her sprint ridiculously fast to the ring. I don't know why you do that in a Royal Rumble match, but she's doing it. It always makes me, I hate it when the baby faces look stupid, and this is one of those cases when I see that. But she come in, got all her moves in and stuff, but At no point I thought someone like Bayley should be really credible, but I actually thought there's more chance of Alexa Bliss winning this thing than Bayley at the moment. It was just unfortunate. What did you make, Matt, of Nia Jax? She was sort of, she was in and about. What did you make of her performance? Because there was a lot of commotion there about her possibly winning this. I don't know why that sort of came up, but I had a lot of emails saying she was a dark horse, a favourite for this. But her performance in it, Matt, I mean, was it good? Is she still a top player in all this?
Yeah, it was alright. I mean, it was what you expect from her. I knew she'd come out late because she's just someone that you'd look at and think, okay, maybe stamina-wise, it's not a good idea to bring her in early. And of course, a big impact person like that has a lot more effect later on in the match. Get some eliminations, make people think they're a credible threat because they're fresh. So I feel like everything that she's supposed to do was there, but it's the same thing with every big person that ever comes into a Royal Rumble. They're always the target. They're always just there for the threat level, but never necessarily pulling it off. It's a typical cliche kind of role that she was filling there in the Royal Rumble.
Yeah. Then we get Lana coming out at 29, and she's well overselling that she can't compete. To the point that even Carmella, who comes out at 30, walks past her, which has just made me chuckle. I was just like, oh god, so here we go. And then of course, they really missed an opportunity, Matt, because Finlay was there, wasn't he? He was helping Lana. As we saw Becky Lynch come out and ask, I don't know how Finley's all of a sudden got a role to go, yeah, you can compete. but apparently he's got some clout by the looks of it, but we're not being told that, we're just reading into that. But they missed the opportunity, Matt. I was expecting Hornswoggle at that point. Maybe they could have held on for him a little bit longer, and even if they'd have just had that moment of just a glimmer at each other and then run off or whatever, I thought that would have been a wasted moment for me there. But nonetheless, Matt, Finlay served the role to give Becky the great news that she can now take Lana's place. What was you thinking from this point on, Matt?
I was thinking, oh no, I've lost some money on a bet. but no, aside from that, I was thinking, okay, I can see which direction this is going. Then this is blatantly because earlier on in the night, after Becky had lost, there was some close-ups of a disappointed face and how we should feel sorry for her. So I kind of felt like this is going to be her moment now. She's going to bring this home, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. She's definitely one of the most talented people on the roster right now. So of course she's going to have a great WrestleMania regardless of what champion she chooses. But I felt like, of course, the crowd were very happy because as soon as they saw Lana coming out limping, everyone was chanting Becky, we want Becky. So I was kind of feeling like if they went with any other decision now, the people are going to be pissed.
And she comes out and look, it was a good ending. I liked it from this point as well. I thought this was good intensity. They came down to arguably the two best in there. I mean, this was Charlotte and Becky. I mean, they could have done like the old routine, Matt, where you have Becky against two solid heels or something. We've seen that so many times. I kind of had it in my head. I bet they kind of stick with her and Nia at the end or something, and it's kind of blatant then who's going to win for me. But I was glad they did it with Charlotte. Was you surprised, Matt, given how Becky was selling the injury? And obviously, although Charlotte had been in there for a while, she was much more fresh of the two. Was you surprised then, Matt, to see that she was going to become victorious after all this? And was you satisfied with that result, or was you not?
This was always very open for me. There was always the possibility that we all knew Carmella was going to be number 30. I thought it might have been her that was the one that would have missed the Rumble spot, but there was always that opportunity that someone was going to step in, and it was a higher chance that it would be Becky if that was to happen. So I wasn't that upset to see her enter the Rumble. It's just when it came down to the last two, then questions do kind of creep in. Is this going to be a Bret Hart and Lex Luger situation? Is there going to be a draw, considering all the rumours rumours of a triple threat at WrestleMania, and then we get into the other situation of like, well, now you have to choose like one or the other, and I feel like it's been on the cards for so long now that it was going to be Charlotte that was going to go there and fight Ronda Rousey, and I know we got to see it already, but it wasn't that. I don't feel like that was the true version, because it ended and there was no clear decisive winner from that match. So I am kind of waiting for part 2 of that, and I did kind of hope that we would get that for WrestleMania, because Charlotte is that kind of person you put on that pedestal, and she is probably the face of the women's division. When people look up and see who they want to aspire to be, it's probably like that. They want to have that kind of athleticism, that strength, be almost like the complete package. And I felt like that was the marquee match. Maybe probably we even had it a while back when we said this could even possibly be the main event of WrestleMania. Charlotte versus Ronda, like the biggest name in women's wrestling versus the biggest name in probably women's sports, like it has been for like the last decade with Ronda Rousey. So I was hoping that would be the case, but Becky's it's a close second. I mean, she's definitely going to have a good match, but we don't even, at this point in time, as we are recording this, we don't even know who Becky's going to choose.
Well, for me, I got to say, I kept saying I like the chase. Would it have been even more heartbreaking, Matt, had she have got right to the end of that and then Charlotte wins, and then you've still got fans going, we still want her in the main event, we'll do anything to get her in the main event. You know how fans are, they kind of spit out anything they've been given by WWE, and it would have just got even more momentum for me behind Becky. I know it sounds ridiculous that not winning a Royal Rumble can get you over more, but I honestly feel like that sometimes. I feel like if you kind of, you give hope so many times and then it doesn't keep happening by hook or crook, you never know. But they did decide to go with this. I am surprised. I'll be honest with you, from this point of view at the moment, going towards WrestleMania, I'm a bit of an old school traditionalist here. I like one-on-one. I feel like if you're going to get over Ronda, you need to be one-on-one. It's very difficult to get the equity that's been built up on somebody in a triple threat match. You can put these things down to films. You don't, you watch Rocky films. You don't have 3 guys. And I mean, I remember going back. This goes back years ago, but in the prime of WWF, almost. Sure you remember this one, Matt. WWE WrestleMania 2000. At one point, it was going to be The Rock versus Triple H. They ended up making it a fatal 4-way with a McMahon in every corner. Oh, dreadful. And I would have much preferred if it would have just been The Rock and Triple H, and still the same result. I still love the fact that Triple H was a heel champion that won. But it would have meant, it just means so much more to me if it's one-on-one. I think basically you get one or the other, Matt. You either get a better match because it'll be triple threat, and I do think that would be a better match. But then if you want the story, if you want the best story out of this, then the story is one-on-one, and one of these wins only. But if the moment you make sort of multiple person matches, there's always a scapegoat. There's always somebody that doesn't get pinned, and it's never really settled. So I prefer it one-on-one. I got to be honest, I really don't fancy seeing a triple threat match. I feel like that's something they can do down the line at another stage. But they could easily go that way. That's the problem. What's the chances, Matt, of Charlotte? If we say Becky's going to face Ronda, would they do Charlotte versus Oscar again and have a rematch from last year?
It's difficult. I don't really see that. I mean, I feel like that's all concluded now, so that would be, I don't know, a little bit strange for them to go down that route again.
The person that ended her streak.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot built up on both women that they can distribute equally elsewhere. Like if Charlotte was in her own separate match and then Asuka was in her own separate match, they could have equally good matches with 2 completely different superstars. So I feel like they would be better to split them up for now. But that's being said, it's one of those big marquee matches, and perhaps this time it goes the other way, and then how WWE likes to do these rubber matches.
Yeah, they do. Well, it'll be a great story. But just to finish on this, because I don't want to spend too long with this, but last but not least,